Echoes beneath the storms. Prologue, Gods of Gas and Thunder. Jupiter. A colossus of storms. A crucible of gravity. For millennia, it loomed in humanity's sky, defiant and unknowable. Myth called it Zeus. Science called it uninhabitable. Yet the future unruly, bold called it home. By the 23rd century, Earth was wheezing. Climate collapse, resource depletion, and factional wars fractured humanity's cradle. Colonies dotted the Moon, Mars, and the Belt, but none could rival what came next, the colonization of Jupiter's skies. Not its surface. Jupiter had no true surface. It was a planet of cloud and pressure, wind and flame. To survive here meant to float, to hover between destruction and salvation. Thus began Project Zephyrus, a megastructure initiative led by a coalition of Earth's last great nations and the autonomous belt syndicates. It aimed to build a stable, living habitat in the upper atmosphere of Jupiter, above the death line but below escape. It was the most ambitious human endeavor since the Ark ships left for Proxima. It was the beginning of something new. Chapter 1, Aether Rising. Aether Station wasn't built in a day. It took 40 years, 3 disasters, and 5 mutinies before it finally floated majestically, trembling above the Great Red Spot. The station looked like a metallic manta ray, wings stretched wide, sails of charged mesh drawing power from the storm itself. Its buoyancy depended on dynamic fields and an exotic fluid called heliogravium, which adapted to Jupiter's pull like a living muscle. Inside Aether lived 2,312 people. Scientists, engineers, terra artists, genetic architects, socio-philosophers. The best minds humanity could still offer. And among them was Dr. Kayla Voss, a rising star in atmospheric bioalchemy. She remembered her first view from the observatory. Jupiter filled the sky. Swirls of tan and crimson moved with unholy grace. The great red spot spun slowly beneath, 3 times the size of Earth. Lightning arced across cloud banks like spider webs of gods. "I'm standing in the sky of a planet that could swallow Earth whole," she whispered. That night, she dreamed of giants beneath the clouds. Chapter 2, Beneath the Silence. Kayla's research focused on sky lichen engineered flora that converted ammonia and methane into breathable components. The lichen anchored itself to synthetic membranes exposed to the Jovian winds. It wasn't glamorous work, but it was necessary. Aether's air recyclers needed augmentation. Ammonia levels spiked randomly. Turbulence stressed systems. But something else gnawed at Kayla, sensor logs showing rhythmic pulses in the magnetic field. She cross-referenced with older data and found the same pulse signature repeating every 36 hours. She brought it to Commander Elian Reich. "Natural resonance," Reich said, waving it off. "Jupiter howls. Let it." But Kayla persisted. With help from her AI assistant, Vita, she isolated the pulses, refined the data, and filtered out background interference. The result was unmistakable. Patterned structure. Artificiality. Jupiter was singing. Chapter 3, Harmonics. The signals weren't random. They were modular, like language. The pulses encoded ratios resembling the Fibonacci sequence, harmonic intervals, prime clusters. Kayla worked with linguistic AI suites and fractal pattern analyzers. One night, the pulses shifted. They mimicked the tone of her research broadcasts. Echoes. Response. It wasn't just singing, it was listening. She called it the deep voice. And then it spoke. Chapter 4, The Message. The signal came in pulses, electromagnetic fields modulated through the atmosphere's magnetic layers. Translated, the message was simple. Do not cut. Do not bleed the sky. It arrived just as Aether's mining subsidiary, Hephaestus Core, began extracting pressurized helium-3 and supercooled hydrogen from lower strata. They were using a tethered siphon rig, Athena, designed to harvest without disturbing the storm layers. It failed catastrophically. An unexpected pressure surge tore through the tether. Lightning from the lower clouds arced into the station's systems. The hull of Ring 4 ruptured. 118 colonists died, including Kayla's partner, Lynn. The deep voice sent no condolences. Just another warning. You are ash in the blood of storms. Chapter 5, Civil War in the Clouds. Morning turned to rage. The colonists split. The preservers, led by Kayla and the original scientific core, advocated for diplomatic engagement with the deep voice and non-invasive coexistence. The harvesters, led by Commander Reich, wanted to rebuild Athena and extract the resources to sustain the station's growing population. Aether descended into ideological Cold War. Tensions flared into sabotage. Systems were hacked. Airlocks were sealed. Artificial gravity fields fluctuated dangerously. Kayla knew Aether couldn't survive this division. So she made a choice, to descend into Jupiter. Chapter 6, Into the Maw. The Prometheus capsule was a one-person descent craft designed for data retrieval and short atmospheric DIPs. Kayla retrofitted it for deep entry beyond 150 kilometers, into regions where light no longer reached. Vita, reluctant but loyal, accompanied her. As they descended, the pressure grew. Outside, storms raged. Hydrogen thickened into metallic liquid. The capsule groaned. Then came the voice. Not in words. In memory. Kayla saw images her childhood, Lynn's smile, Earth's blue sky. But altered. Warped. As if being watched by something that couldn't fully understand, but deeply felt. We are sky. We are storm. You are shapeless fire. Kayla spoke not with words, but with thoughts. She shared human purpose, fear, wonder. She showed them Earth's pain. She showed them Aether's gardens. In return, they showed her their history. Chapter 7, The Skyborn. They were not machines. Not even life in the sense humans understood. They were atmospheric sentience, emergent consciousness formed from magnetic fields and fluid dynamics over billions of years. They had seen planets rise and fall. They had seen the sun born. Jupiter was not their prison. It was their body. The deep voice was the cumulative mind of these storm beings, the Skyborn. And they feared extinction. Centuries ago, they had silenced Saturn's upper consciousness after it became unstable. Mars had been silent always. Earth had been too noisy, too brief. But Kayla was different. She had listened. So they made her a conduit. Chapter 8, Communion. Kayla returned, lifted by a spiraling updraft conjured by the Skyborn. Aether's sensors captured her capsule's rise like a miracle. She brought back knowledge ways to channel energy through harmonic stabilization, bioresonant reactors, even the blueprint for skyweaving, a new science blending organic matter with atmospheric rhythms. The preservers took control of Aether's governance. Reich was exiled to a solo outpost in the Io belt. The harvesters dissolved into cooperation. Aether became the first embassy city, a hybrid of human ingenuity and storm intelligence. The deep voice offered not dominion, but alliance. Chapter 9, The Storm Cities. Within 3 decades, humanity had built 5 more stations. Zephyron, a data archive drifting along the northern jet streams. Icarus Reach, a vertical research tower descending 180 kilometers into the metallic sea. Galilee's Cradle, a birthplace for hybrid children born of Earth and Jupiter genetically adapted to pressure and radiation. Mnemosyne Ring, a university where humans and AI philosophers debated with skyborn echoes. Tethys Bloom, a living structure grown from Jovian polymers, breathing in rhythm with the clouds. Kayla Voss lived long, her lifespan extended by Jovian biochemistry. She became the first human to fully commune with a skyborn node. When she died, they sang her name for 6 days, a storm spiral encoded with harmonic tribute. Her funeral was held in orbit, her remains turned to plasma and released into the clouds. Epilogue, The Sky Remembers. Centuries passed. Earth rebuilt. Mars terraformed. The belt became a thriving democracy. But Jupiter remained something else. A mirror. A partner. A cathedral of clouds and mind. And above the great red spot, ether still floats lit by auroras, wreathed in memory, home to a people who dared to live in the sky of a god.